everyone, Miss Stemmer here. Our I can statement for today is I can combine like terms. Now, what we are doing is these are the notes for today. Now, what you are going to do is you are going to be combining like terms. So terms are like negative 5a, 3a, and negative a those are all like terms because they all have an a in it. Okay? That is what you're going to be doing today. Now we're going to draw a line in front to help separate them out. Then we're going to color each term. So like all my A's I have in red, all my B's I have in blue, and all my numbers I have in orange, just number with no letter with it or variable with it. Then we're going to simplify each group into one single term. So all my reds, you notice I combine negative 5a plus 3a plus a minus a, and I solve. Well, negative 5a plus 3a gives us negative 2a, plus a gives us negative a. Then we have negative a minus a, that gives us negative 2a. Same thing with b, I have negative 4b plus 6b, that equals 2b. Then I look here, I have negative 2, negative 12, plus 1. I combine each of them in the order that I see them. Negative 4 plus 1, that gives me negative 13. I take those three numbers, or number with coefficient, and I could do like negative 2a plus 2b minus 13. If you're a person that needs to write this down now, do that. I also have it posted. Make sure that you see those different colors too. So, looking at this, we are going to simplify these expressions, okay? Now looking here, if I simplify these expressions, I'm going to separate it with a bar in front. Now for this 2z, we're going to have z be green. This is a z, and this is a z. Notice how I bring whatever, like plus, minus, whatever it is in front of it, I always bring that with. Now these are both z's. So when I equal that out, I'm simply just going to do 2z plus 8z, which gives me 10z's. So we get 10z. I look at my w's. I break it apart. For w, we're going to use orange this time. 7w minus w. Now this w right here, this can sometimes trip kids up. It really just has a 1 there in front of it. It's just 1 w. This means that there's 7 w's. So 7w minus 1w gives me 6w. Try and do C and D on your own, and then check to make sure that you're doing it correctly. So here I'm going to break it up. My F's we're going to do in red. They're both S, so I have 16 and 85 hundredths minus 1 and 3 tenths. Now, remember we always line up decimals when we're adding and subtracting. So this is going to be F. We have 5, 5, 5, 1, and I bring that decimal straight down. So we have 15 and 55 hundredths F. Okay, same thing with 27k plus 10 and 7 tenths k. I break it up. Then this time I have not used this pinkish purplish color. We're going to use that. I combine all my k's. And notice how I'm always bringing that sign with it. So we have 27k plus 10 and 7 tenths k. Notice I line up that decimal. 27, there's really a decimal after it. We just don't need to show it. We're adding that up. Bring our decimal straight down. We get 37 and 7 tenths k. Now the next part that we're going to do here is we're going to have more than one term. So we're going to have to simplify the expressions to make the terms easier. So looking at this right here, we're going to break this up. So I break it up like that. I'm going to have red be my regular numbers. I'm going to have green be my T's. Now I combine my like terms. So I have 14T plus 8T. So 14 plus 8, we'll think 14 plus 6, that gives me 20. Then we have 2 more, so that's going to give me 22T. Then we have 87 still here, and we just add 87. Now this is where your equation is done now. Because we can't take T plus 87. They're not the same terms. So we just let it like this. Okay, same thing with letter B. I break it up. Now we're going to do our regular numbers in red still. So I have 38 and 74. And then the X's this time we're going to do it in blue. Make sure you can always see that sign too. Make sure your variable comes first. So we have 105x plus 68. We add that up. We have 13, 7, 1. So we get 173x. Now I have positive 38 plus 74, so we add that up. 8 plus 4 more gives me 12. 7 plus 3 is 10, plus 1 more is 11, plus 112. The reason I put a plus there is because this is a positive number. If it was negative, we'd put a negative number. C, we split this up. Once we split it up, the red is going to be my regular number. And we're going to have yellow be our U. Now I'm looking here. I have 102U minus 8U. Well, if I take 102U minus 8U, think of it this way. If I take 2 away from 8, okay, we have 6 left over, and that gets me to 100. So 100 minus 6 is going to give me 94, so we get 94U. Okay, think of that number sense. So all I did was I took away 2 first to get me to 100, and then I had 6 more. That got me to 94. Then we have 502 minus 32. Okay. 2 minus 2 is 0. Can't do 0 from 3, so we put a 4, 10, 9, or that would stay 10, my bad, because we already subtracted this because we could. 10 minus 3 is 7, 4 minus 0 is 4. So we get plus 470. Even though there's subtraction here, we just solve it like normal. And then this is still a positive number, so we put a plus there. Letter D, try and do this one on your own and then check to make sure that you're doing it correctly. So I'm going to have my regular numbers be red. I'm going to have my other numbers be orange, my R. So we have 15R plus 15R. And notice how I'm always putting the variables first. That is the proper way to do that. So get in the habit of that. Then we have 312 minus 106. Can't do 2 from 6, so we borrow. 12 minus 6 is 6. That gives me 0. That gives me 2. We have 206. We have to subtract 35 more. That gives me 1. Can't take 0 from 3, so we borrow. 10 minus 3 is 7, and that gives me 1. So I still put plus 171 because it's still a positive number. Okay, We're going to do one more thing where we show the distributive property and what to do first with that, and then we solve it out. Make sure when you have the distributive property, you can multiply them. So I'm going to show you this in just a second. So looking at this page on 284, we have to distribute this out first. So I'm looking here, and we talked, this is the distributive property. We also talked about how it's kind of like a rainbow. So we do 11 times n, which gives you 11n. 11 times positive 5, because there's a positive here. A positive and a positive make a positive, so it's going to be plus 55 plus 105. Now I separate these out. Then what I do is the n we're going to make in green. And my regular numbers we're going to make in red. We'll stick with that red. And then when we equal it out. So 11n is by itself, so we're just going to leave that, because remember, we can't take 11n plus any of these. We can only multiply them by the variables. Then we have 55 plus 105. Well, if you think of it this way, if I have 105 and I add 50, that gives me 155 plus 5 more is 160. So we have 11n plus 160, and we stop there because there's no more like terms. You only combine your like terms. Same thing here. We have to do our distributive property. 8 times b gives me 8b. 8 times negative 2 is going to give me negative 16, because a positive and a negative number always are going to be a negative number. Then this is plus ab, or 8b, excuse me. And then we draw that line to break it up. Make sure that sign always goes with the front number. So with the red, I'm going to keep my regular number. We're going to do orange this time for our B. And I noticed here that I forgot to put my regular number there. That's what I like about this, because if you have any spots open, then you know that you did something wrong. Also, it might help some of you if you do this on graph paper. If you'd like graph paper, please let me know and I can provide you with that. So now we get 8b's by itself. Then we have 25 minus 16. Well, I'm going to think of it this way. If I take 25 minus 10, that gives me 15. Then I subtract 6 more. Well, I know 15 minus 5 gives me 10. Minus 1 more is 9. So it's going to be positive 9 here. You could do it that way. You could also do it this way too, where we get the same answer. We can't take 5 minus 6, so we borrow. 15 minus 6 gives us 9. Okay? Doesn't matter which way that you do it. I want you to try letter C on your own and then check to make sure that you're doing it correctly. So I have two things here that I'm going to distribute. So we have 42z, and I'm going to spread these out a little bit more since I was struggling over here. 42 times 3, well, that's going to give me 126. Now you easily could have done it this way too if that works for you. Do what works best for you. 2 times 3 is 6. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay? Positive 12 plus z is going to give me 12z. Now I look over here. A positive and a negative again. A positive and a negative is going to be a negative number. So I'm going to put my negative here right away. So if I have 12 times negative 4, that's going to give me 48. You easily could have done it this way too. 12 times, and I always write it like this, so it doesn't look like subtraction. So 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 1 is 4, and then we put that negative sign in there. Because a positive number and a negative number equal negative. Now I split it up. Once I split it up, we're going to keep our regular numbers as red. And then my Z this time, we haven't used this purplish, pinkish color. We'll do this. So we have 42Z plus 12Z. So I'm going to change my pen to black. So that gives us 54Z. An easy way to do that is think 42 plus 10 more, that gives me 52. Add 2 more to that, that gives me 54Z. Okay, then we have 126 minus 48. Can I do 6 minus 8? No. Can I do 2 minus 4? No. So we have to borrow, and borrow. So 16 minus 8 is 8. 11 minus 4, that's going to give us 7. And then we have 0 there. It's still going to be plus 78 because this still equals a positive number. And I must have got a little bump there. If you have any questions on this, please let me know. On your home link tonight, I'm going to show you how you are going to do this. It's very similar to everything. Highly recommend using those colors. I know it seems like a lot, but once you get in the habit of that, it makes it a lot easier. You're going to combine like terms. You're going to combine like terms down here. Also, make sure down here we do our distributive property first. Okay. Down here, you're going to say if it's equal to, less than, or greater than. Have a great rest of your day, 6th graders.